Welcome. This is an impromptu live streaming that I don't usually do. This is very early in the morning on April 7th, 2021. I'm here in Murray, Utah in the United States. If anybody's there, if you want to participate, just feel free to make a comment and participate, or just see what this is about. Pterodactyl danger to children. I know that sounds very strange. We have a much greater danger to humanity with the pandemic worldwide right now than these attacks from these strange flying creatures. But still, it needs to be covered because there is some danger. And there are very, very few people who are talking about that or this or publishing things about this. But the creatures, including the Ropen, which is the most common type, are found worldwide. They're they're seen in many areas of the world, not just in Papua New Guinea. This image here it comes from a video on this same channel, Protect Animal Life. This is for another video about not just an attack against a family dog, a family pet, but also in the video it talks about an attack against a 4-year-old girl in western Oklahoma many years ago, in fact, decades ago. But the woman, as an adult, contacted me just weeks ago, told me what happened, and that she fortunately dived down to the ground, and this big flying creature passed over her, and she was safe, but terrified, ran into the house. We'll get into that a little later. Excuse me. So these are not bats, or there's featherless flying creatures, but they're much, much larger than bats. Even the largest bats in the world, which we don't have in the United States, are the flying fox fruit bat in places like Africa, southwest Pacific, like Papua New Guinea, Australia. The flying fox fruit bat gets a wingspan of about 4.5 feet. Possibly, theoretically, it could have one as big as perhaps close to 5 feet in wingspan, but nothing remotely like the estimates I've gotten over the years. This is a sampling of wingspans that people give estimates are for the eyewitnesses, and these are the more credible sightings. And it has a wide range all the way up to 20 feet, 25 feet, 30 feet, 35 feet. These are not misidentified bats, especially not the ones with long tails. So we get into that in other videos. Watch other videos on this channel to get into details. But basically, carried away by a flying creature. Need to be aware of, excuse me for the delay, the danger to children, dinosaur flying overhead, pterodactyl sighting. These are some expressions we get sometimes in relation to this. I'll mention one case that's very indirect before we get into a case of actual attack. An eyewitness who says that she was attacked when she was a child. This is indirect. This comes from the book Missing 411. It's by David Paulides. I think this is the first book in the series. He's written many now, but we're getting into one particular case, page 179 in Arizona. The victim or the child involved is by the name of Mike McDonald, who was 2 years old at the time. This took place in 1945 in October. He was playing in his yard with the family dog this morning, and the family noticed he was gone. The dog was gone. They started looking for him. Well, according to this, the morning after Mike disappeared, Joe Mousy, a Bisbee businessman, and Mike's father, Ed McDonald, they were riding their horses looking around for the child, saying, where in the world did he go? They were 15 miles away, I think. Yeah, 15 miles from the home where the child disappeared with the dog. And One of the men noticed a dog that was sitting on a mound of dirt. Well, they went to investigate, and the father said, "Yeah, that's our family dog." And there's this mound of dirt, and on the side of the dirt, they found there's a hole had been dug. They call it a cave, but technically, I don't know if that's the word. Some person or something dug a hole in that mound of dirt. It was not a natural cave formation in the usual sense of cave. This very small hole was dug, about 2 feet wide, and they found the boy. He was almost totally unharmed, very good condition. But it was weird. 15 miles away, as a 2-year-old boy, 2-year-old child. And we have many cases like this. I did some analysis of this. I can't go into the details now. I don't have the facts and figures in front of me. But this kind of thing comes up over and over again, not just in the United States, but there's a case in Australia, which is similar. How could such a small child travel so far? It's not normal. Anyway, that's indirect. There's nothing about any mention of anything like a flying creature at all in that. But take this in context with what I've learned just earlier this year, weeks ago, from an eyewitness, the person who actually was attacked. She was a 4-year-old girl going to the bus stop one morning to see her older siblings go off to school. She was too young to go to school. And after they left on the school bus, she came back to the house. It was about around the area of the chicken coop. And this huge flying creature dived down at her. She said it was the size of a Volkswagen Bug, a small car, covered with hair, hairy creature. And she dove down to the ground because it was diving toward her. She dove down to the ground and it just missed her, and it just made a screeching or squawking noise or something and flew off. She saw all the time that this was happening. As she dived down, she was looking at it, and it flew over her. She said that the beak or mouth, I forgot the term she was. I think she said beak. She said it was full of teeth, and she knew that was not normal. That was not normal. Birds don't have teeth, you know. She's 4 only, but that's old enough for a child to know this is not normal. They had chickens, you know. Chickens don't have teeth. And it was terrifying for her, and she ran into the house. And now, over the years, in recent years, this is a few decades ago, I don't remember exactly when, I think it was over 20 years ago. But we have so many accounts of modern pterosaurs, including the Ropen, which is a long-tailed, featherless flying creature, like in this picture. There's so many accounts from around the world, and sometimes people say that they have a relative or friend that's also seen one. I come to this firm opinion. In the United States alone, just in the United States, there are at least 300,000 persons. That's 1 in 1,000 Americans, 300,000 persons who've had a good sighting of a modern pterosaur at some time in their human life. It's not just a few people that have had a hallucination or something or playing a joke. This is very real, and it's coming out now with more and more people getting involved with communicating online with the internet and the World Wide Web. And over the past 17 and a half years, I've written and published over 1,000 web pages and blog posts on these flying creatures, apparent pterosaurs, most of them being apparently descended from some kind of rhamphorhynchoid pterosaur, a long-tailed pterosaur from the past. Now, some people object. They say, oh, you can't call it a pterosaur. They've been extinct for millions of years. Well, there are some species of flying creatures not yet classified by modern science officially. But I'm a scientist, and I tell you, this is very important. It's worth looking into, because so many of these people have contacted me over the last 17 and a half years. Hundreds of reports just from the United States, and I've received eyewitness reports directly from the eyewitnesses themselves from 5 continents. These sightings come from all over the world, and there are distinct similarities in some important details. No feathers, usually large size. But anyway, you see the relationship with how important it is to let this be known, because there can be danger to children in certain circumstances, certain areas, certain times. So let's get, it's too early. Most people are not awake now. I understand the United States, mostly Americans are getting into these videos that I produce in English. Americans are mostly those who are participating, and it's just too short and too long. But this is important enough. We need to tell people about this. Watch more videos on this channel. This is Protect Animal Life is the name of the YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure it's the #1 channel in the world on YouTube for eyewitness reports of apparent modern pterosaurs, living non-extinct pterodactyls. This channel that I put up here 2 years ago and been working on it for 2 years, I believe is the #1 channel. It says way over 122 regular videos, plus many live streams, plus a few shorts videos. This is the place to go. Please come back and participate. Usually Friday, late afternoon, Utah time is when we have our major long live stream event. And so just feel free to participate then. If there's anything you want to say right now, I'll listen to it, but this is not planned on being a major long video this morning. But this is serious. I'm not playing a joke. I've written 5 nonfiction books now, my largest one in 4 editions, in the 4th edition now, and another one, Live Pterosaurs in America, in its 3rd edition. I've written a scientific paper in a peer-reviewed journal of science, and I'm serious about this. These are cases that don't make sense in terms of misidentified birds or bats. They definitely don't make sense in terms of hoaxes and as regard to the overall sighting statistics. Let's go over this just a little bit to show you that this is not some huge mistake. These eyewitness estimates, the first thing I noticed early in the year 2013, when I first got these things together and was analyzing what's going on with these things that the eyewitnesses have been reporting to me. And I had 128 credible sightings at that time, at the beginning of the year 2013. And here's what I first noticed, is that this can't be from any hoaxes and any major involvement. I know it's possible, always 128 sighting reports. It's possible one person might have slipped in and fooled me and made a hoax, but not the overall sighting reports in their statistics. For example, notice how evenly these eyewitness estimates are for the wingspan in feet, not meters, but feet. Sometimes I deal with meters and so, but this is feet. This cannot come from any combination of any reasonable number of hoaxes. Maybe 1, possibly 2. I don't think so. More likely no hoaxes were involved in these sighting reports. Because why would a person make just a hoax and to play a joke and make an estimate of wingspan that was like 10 feet. I saw a 10-foot wingspan pterodactyl. Oh, well, that's pretty big for a bird, but there are some birds that get close to that range of size. Some bigger birds do get close to that. It's not like the hoaxer would just say 9 feet. Oh, I saw a 9-foot wingspan pterodactyl, playing a joke. No, if they were playing a hoax, they would want to make sure that nobody misunderstands that this was really not a bird. It was a real pterodactyl I saw, even though the person is telling a lie. Well, it doesn't work with the overall reports, because there's no bump at all in the ranges that are bigger than birds, like, for example, 13 feet to 17 feet, 20 feet. There's no bump in the statistics. There's no hill, even a tiny little hill or bump. It's just so all even. Now, there are reasons for that. Why is it such an even range? And there's reasons. I go into that in other videos. These are basically potentially a number of different species, a number of different times in their lives as they grow. And there's a number of things that account for this. But the point is, I've talked about this in other videos and in my books and blog posts for years. But the point here is that these eyewitness estimates that the actual persons gave to me in the estimating the size, wingspan, and feet, there could not be any major involvement of hoaxers that were playing jokes and lying. There couldn't be. It wouldn't result in this type of statistics. And there's something else I learned just this year, recently, just within the past few weeks, that suddenly dawned on me. I'm not a genius. I've been looking at this for years and I've known about it. And suddenly I realized it's far more important than that. These are not misidentifications either. These wingspan estimates could not be misidentified herons or cranes or shoebill cranes or anything like any kind of bird, because it wouldn't result in this huge range that goes up to 46 feet in wingspan. It couldn't. The eyewitnesses couldn't be making that weird kind of mistake with such an even range of mistakes. And some people say, oh yeah, people were scared, so they exaggerate and they think it was big. Well, look deeper, look scientifically. There's always a possibility of this situation of an eyewitness giving a mistake, but the mistake can be in both directions if you want to be objective. If you want to be scientific at all, you need to admit that errors can go in both directions, bigger or smaller than what a person thought. Why in the world would a person be scared of a common bird, a crane or a blue heron or something? Why would they be afraid of it and then think it's much bigger? It doesn't make much sense. The reason some people might be afraid, not all persons are afraid. Some of them are just shocked and surprised and trying to figure out, maybe they're afraid they may not have had something going on right in their brain or something, but maybe they had a hallucination. But they eventually realize no, and sometimes they have another person with them, or more than two eyewitnesses even, all of them seeing that it's a pterodactyl. Shocking. But what happens is, if a person is afraid of the animal, if that causes a problem with the estimate of wingspan, you have to ask, why were they afraid in the first place? What got them scared to cause them to think something is different than what it was, or bigger than what it was? And the only thing reasonable here is because the people report a pterodactyl, it was looking like a pterodactyl, and it was large. The reason they're scared is it was a very big modern pterosaur. Strange and weird as that sounds. And I know I'm sounding sort of like the little girl in the story of the big friendly giant. She says they're trying to tell the world about this and tell the Queen of England. I feel weird because this is not fiction. This is not a fictional story. It's nonfiction. It's real. These are real people that contact me. So we don't have anybody participating. It's just too early in the morning to get people to be adding their comments here. Feel free to come back and watch this if you like later. But I will be producing other videos, and you can watch 100 or more videos on this channel. If you want to contact me, use this contact form by email. You can just do a search. Jonathan Whitcomb is my name. Do a search, contact Jonathan Whitcomb, and pterodactyl or dinosaur, flying dinosaur, or pterosaur. If you can spell it, not many people can, but flying creature. And then use my my full name, Jonathan Whitcomb. The name of this channel, remember this channel, is Protect Animal Life. It's not Flying Dinosaurs or anything like this. It's Protect Animal Life. And please feel free to come back to this channel and subscribe if you like, only if you really want to watch the videos. It's just subscribing and not watching videos doesn't help me, it doesn't help you, it doesn't help anybody. But if you're interested, come back and watch more videos, and then subscribe, and you'll have a better chance of keeping up to date with it. But it's time to go now. I'll be back in a couple of days in the afternoon, not early morning, but late in the afternoon, Utah time in the United States. Usually I start the live stream, and this is in Mountain Time at about 4:30, which would be 6:30 in the afternoon in the Eastern Time. Thank you very much.